Hello, welcome to Canasta with Lindsay 1 on Canasta Junction. I'm going to play a game with three robots on Canasta Junction and explain a little bit of strategy. I am not going to explain the basic rules, the point value of the cards, or the card play. I am going to try to discuss some things that you should be thinking about as you play in a game that will help you to become a better player. Counting the points is something you just have to master on your own. So we're going to play against three robots, which is down here, artificial computer engineering, or whatever the ACE stands for. So we can get a couple of my partner will be a robot and the opponents will be robots. And we'll set up the speed a little bit. I advise you to watch this video at least 1.5 speed, and actually you can watch it at 2.0. The table rules are set by the programming. It's a base of 5, which is normal. In this game, you may not go out with a pair and a wild card, although most live playing games, you may go out with a pair and a wild card. And special hands embedded in the game include pairs, Palm Beach pairs with 2 big jokers and 2 deuces, and zip code, which is a hand that it has 4 of a kind, 3 of a kind, 3 of a kind, 2 of a kind, and 2 of a kind. It can be any random assortment of cards. All right. I am always the first player, the person who goes first on Canasta Junction's computerized game, because they haven't set it up where the dealer rotates. So, sorry, I was chatting and not paying attention to the discards. I'll try to do a better job. A 9 by my left-hand opponent, a 5 by my partner. In this game, it's very, very important to watch the discards of your left-hand opponent. Here, my left-hand opponent has melded, so they'll be down to few cards, and I already know what are safe discards: the jack, the 10, king, etc. And my partner's already given away the deck, so I guess it doesn't really matter that much. But in most games, the key cards to watch are your left-hand opponent's discards and also your partner's discards, because if the time comes that you're actually going to meld on your side, you would like to have cards that match so that you can close a canasta. So here in this case, I couldn't reshape my hand because I already had the kings and the 10s the opponents had melded with, which unfortunately were not going to be very useful for my partner. I'm also going to, I think, turn off my camera so I can see better. All right, then let's see what we have going on here. No time to be coy. So the 10s are useless for our side. There's no possible way we can close the 10s. They already have 4 of them. The 9s are in play. The queens are dead to us. I still have a chance with the kings. Let's see what their discards are. All right. Well, I have plenty of wild cards, and it doesn't look like we're closing anything else. I think I will use these. I will not delay my other triple. It's not impossible that my partner were to pick up or even be holding 2 kings. Didn't have that last wild card to close the kings. All right. Next hand. I'm not liking the shape of this hand with a single deuce. And while I do have my clean triple, this hand is not looking promising for melding. It's far more promising to be playing a defensive hand with this. So I'm going to keep my pairs of little cards, and I'm going to start to discard pairs of 10-point cards. Since my partner here discarded a 10, my next discard will be to get rid of my 10s, because I'm going to need to rely on my partner to meld, as my hand is not progressing well. And if my partner is going to meld, I would like to have cards similar to the ones that they're melding with. So they've been discarding 10s. So I would say it's fairly safe that they don't have 10s. All right, now let's see. A little more promising. Next, I'm taking a chance with the 7. In a normal game with people, do not discard a 7 unless you are keeper of the, unless you have 2 other ones, in which case you're announcing to your partner it is safe for them to throw all of their 7s. So in a normal game, I would have kept the 2 7s and discarded one of my 6s, which was safe. And now I sort of have to follow along with the poor choice of the 7s, because I'm very close to either a zip code hand or to melding. I have 125 points in my hand. I can meld if they give me if they discard a card that matches any card in my hand, and if not, there's a good chance I can pick up a hand that that creates a special hand, a zip code hand. All right, I guess none of those things will happen since my partner is melding, and they made a solid choice to do so. Very nice discarding by my robot opponent. Let us close these, and I'll keep the 4s to pick up the deck, or the 9s. I am a little concerned because I had thrown 2 7s, and my partner probably had some 7s in their hand, since neither other opponent had discarded any. With only 8 cards left, it was likely that I had discarded 2 7s and everybody around the table already each had 2 7s. So we're going to have a tricky time trying to discard, for my partner to discard down to just 2 7s and not have a 1,500 point penalty. So this is a beginner lesson, but I'm going to assume that anybody watching this knows about the 7 penalty, that you may have up to 2 7s in your hand, and 3 or more will create a 1,500 point penalty. The 3s are all out, so there being 2 cards left, the opponents do not have a second canasta closed. I'm hoping that my partner only has one more 7 to discard. I'm going to close these, and I'm not going to use my last card. Oh, unfortunately, they had too many 7s. So we ended up with a penalty, and even with the penalty, though, because we closed so many canastas, we still got 2,000 points. All right, so the opponents need 155 to meld, and we need 125. Let's see if I can do a little bit better. Playing more conservatively and not being so wanton with my 7s. Partner through a jack, I'm going to follow suit. Hopefully we'll have a match if she melts. So I don't know about this ace discard by my partner. Generally, until your side is melded, the discard of an ace is exactly like the discard of 7. You might be afraid of keeping more than 2 aces in your hand if the opponents were to get a special hand, and you would then be minus 1,500. But I'm not sure how these computer robots partners play. All right, so let's just see how this is going to work out. Unfortunately, I didn't get any wild cards with my Talon, my 4-card Talon. And my partner, having chosen to take the deck, I assume would not do so if they didn't have wild cards to complete the wild card canasta, because obviously there's no wild cards in the discard pile. So when you need to complete your wild card canasta, you have to make sure not to take the deck until it's closed, or until you know you can close it. Sorry, I wasn't paying attention. I never even saw that. All right, what are we going to have here? Well, we're going to close these 5s clean. Add something to my 4s. Contribute to the queens. And discard down just 2 aces. However, I will be discarding the rest of my aces as quickly as possible. My partner, I know, has at least 2 aces in their hand, and so the aces could be a problem. So the opponents did manage to meld at 155. All right. And my partner having discarded a 7, I will follow along. Nice. Picking up that last 3 was a nice bonus, because the fourth red 3 will give us 1,000 points in red 3s. Along with our 300 points in black 3s. Huh. So, unusual that my partner did not discard the 3rd ace. They made a clean discard of the 4, so it looked like they should have discarded that 3rd ace. All right. Have a little more opportunity to analyze the hands. Okay, moving along. Big joker and a deuce are very nice to have. I have a clean triple. Now, this is looking like a good hand, but it is still a hand that is going to require another joker. Now that I got the other ace, I'm a little happier. Let's see what we're going to do here. Make the misleading discard of 7. I apologize. I'm sure that I should not be doing this in a regular game. All right, here we are. We're looking pretty good. We have 80, 130, 180 points for sure. And I'm going to sit it out 1 round, see if I get a card I can pick up and meld with that. I do not need to put a wild card on here unless I wanted to count the 5s as part of my meld. So if I needed the 5s to count, the 5 I picked up from the discard pile and put with my 2 5s, would not allow me to count it in my meld unless I had either a 3rd 5 of my own or a wild card with it. But I'm going to try to do those naturally and use my wild card on ranks that will not be closed dirty. That will be closed dirty. Here, enough fives were in the deck to close it clean, and I didn't want to use the wild card on it as long as I didn't have to. I would not be putting everything down on the table unless my hand had no penalty cards, unless I was down to only 2 sevens. If I had a third 7 in my hand and I did not want my partner to go out, I would have held back on those other cards and not allowed them to go out without even a second canasta. So they would have, I think, gotten the point that it was too risky to use up all their cards and go out. All right, thank you so much for watching. I'm not sure that those were the most interesting hands, but I will broadcast again tomorrow. Thanks very much.